33, 3 lines from the top of the page. Here we're dealing with the daily walk on Beit HaMikdash every morning, and we saying that every single morning with reading the Korbanot before the full preliminary service of morning of our Shacharit morning service. Abaye מסדר מערכה משמע דגמרא ואליבא דאבא שאול. Abaye arranged the sequence of the daily services in the Beit HaMikdash based on tradition and accordance with the opinion of Abba Shaul. So that's the tradition that they received in a certain sequence, and it goes as follows. מערכה גדולה קודמת למערכה שנייה של קטורת. Large arrangement of food of the altar on which the offering were burned precede the second arrangement of wood, which is the second arrangement was arranged separately near the southwest corner of the altar, and twice every day Kohanim rake coals from it and place it on the inner altar in order to burn the incense. The second arrangement of the incense proceeding as follows. מערכה שנייה של קטורת קודמת לסידור שני גזרי עצים. The second one, the setting up the two logs of wood, again, וסידור שני גזרי עצים קודם לדישון. And the setting up of the two logs wood precedes the removal of ashes from the inner altar. דישון מזבח פנימי, the inner, which is the golden one. ודישון מזבח פנימי קודם להטבת 5 נרות. And the removal of the ashes from the inner altar precedes the removal of the ashes from 5 of the 7 lamps of the candle burn. והטבת 5 נרות קודם לדם התמיד, and removal of ashes from 5 lamps precedes the slaughter and receiving the sprinkling of the blood of the daily morning offering. ודם התמיד קודם להטבת 2 נרות, and sprinkling of the blood of the daily offering precedes the removal of the ashes from the two remaining lamps of the candle burn. והטבת 2 נרות קודמת לקטורת, and removal of the ashes of the 2 lamps precedes the burning of the incense. And then וקטורת קודם לאיברים, ואיברים למנחה ומנחה לחבטים, וחבטים לנסחים. So again, the burning of the incense of the inner altar precedes the burning of the limb of daily offering, or the outer altar. The burning of the limb precedes the sacrifice of the meal offering, which accomplished by the daily offering, and then precede the sacrifice of the Kohen Gadol griddle cake offering. And then the griddle cake offering precedes the pouring of libation of daily offering. ונסחים למוספים ומוספים לבזיחים. Libation, it's precede the sacrifice of the additional offering of the day, and the additional offering precede the vessel of the frankincense that are offered on Shabbat. ובזיחים תמיד שלנו 40 שנאמר וערך על העולה וכתיר על החלבי השלמים על השלם כל הקורבנות כולם. So then the daily offering, the vessel precedes the sacrifice of daily offering. The Torah said in Leviticus 6, and he shall lay out the burnt offering on it and burn it on the fat part of the peace offering. So because they use the word on it, it means complete sacrifice of all other offerings, which is after the daily offering in the morning rather than after the daily afternoon offering. So you see the daily afternoon offering is the final offering sacrifice. So Amar Mar. Now we go and zoom in to each and every one. מערכה גדולה קודמת למערכה שנייה של קטורת. You tell me that the large arrangement of food precedes the second arrangement of food for the incense. Menalan, how do we know that? The Tanya, the Torah said in Leviticus chapter 6, Hi ha'olah al mugdal mizbeach kol halayla. The Torah said that this is the burnt offering the entire night. So what does that mean? The fire of the altar shall be kept burning all the time. It says, Zo maracha gdola, that's the large arrangement. Ve'esh ha'mizbeach tukad bo. And the fire of the altar shall be kept burning on it. Maracha shniya shel ketoret, that's written in a subsequent, so that's applied to the second one, the second arrangement of the incense. So the Gemara said, Ve'ipur chana, maybe we said it the other way around. So he said, Mistabra maracha gdola adifa sheken kapara tav meruba. He said it's reasonable that the large arrangement of food takes precedence, as the atonements that it affects the extensive, which means all the offering are sacrificed on the large pile, not just the incense. So the Gemara said the opposite, Adraba. The second one is better because you bring the coal inside the sanctuary. So they said afilu achi kaparata meruba adifa. Anyway, it's better because it's a large amount of the atonements. It's more, it's a highest level. ובהתאמה היא לא משכח עצים למערכה שנייה, מי לא מאייל ממערכה גדולה. Another option is if one does not find wood for the second arrangement, wouldn't he take coal from the large arrangement into the sanctuary to burn the incense? So you don't have an obligation to bring coal for a special arrangement. So the second one is only a addition to the large one. So again, how do you know it? That the second one, the incense, precedes the bringing the two wood. The Torah said in Leviticus chapter 6, "Uvi'er alei hakohen etzim baboker baboker," and the Kohen shall burn wood upon it in the morning, and they said it twice. So it means alea velo al chaverta, on the altar and not on the other, which means michlal de'ita la chaverta. So you derive by interference that there is another pile on the altar, meaning that when the new logs are placed on the altar, the two arrangements are already there. So they said, "V'hai alea mibayle legufei." So, but in this term, upon it needed for its own sake, which means we have the obligation to place the logs on the altar. So how can the timing of the placement be derived from the term? The Gemara said, "Trei alei aktivei." It's written twice in the verse. The Torah said, "And the Kohen shall be burn wood upon it in the morning." So it's written twice the word alea. The next step in arrangement is sidur shnei gizrei etzim kodem mishum mizbeach numi. The setting up of the two logs precedes the removal of the ashes from the inner altar. So אבל גב, דהכתיב בבוקר בבוקר והכתיב בבוקר בבוקר, since it's written twice the word in the morning, so אפילו אחר מכשיר עדיף, even though an action that facilitates another service take precedence. So Gemara said מכשיר מה העניין? What is the act that facilitates? So they said שני גזרי עצים. So the placement of the two logs. ואמר שני גזרי עצים במערכה גדולה אזלי. But didn't we say that the two logs go to the large arrangement of wood and not to the arrangement of wood from which the coal are taken from the incense? So these logs is in no way facilitate the burning of the incense. אמר רבי ירמיה שום עצים. Rabbi Yoma said that it's not a category of wood. So since we have a wood that prepare a way for the incense, so it means you have to have this one preceding to the incense, including the two pieces of wood. Ravina Amar. Ravina has a different explanation. הואיל והתחיל במערכה גומר since he starts with this arrangement, setting up the arrangement, he should complete it. Rabashi said something else. He said, said if you don't have the enough wood for the second arrangement, how do you know that he can take from the large one to the sanctuary to burn it? He doesn't bring to the altar coal from the large one. So it means that the two pieces of wood sometimes used for incense, so you should have it first because it's a machshir adif, that's the preparation first. And we say that the removal of the ashes from the inner altar precedes the removal of the ashes from 5 of the 7 lamps of the candle burn. What's the reason? That's where we received the tradition from our ancestors. In the simple explanations, I don't, it's just my tradition. It's like almost like fiddler on the roof, right? Rava said that the reason כריש לקיש, אמר ריש לקיש, אין מעבירים על המצוות. ריש לקיש said, one may not forgo performance of any of the mitzvot in order to perform another mitzvah. Which means when you have a mitzvah right now to do it, you have to do it right away, because the Torah said, ושמרתם את המצות, in Shmot, in the book of Exodus, chapter 12. So we derive matzot in order for them not to be 11. So because it's so close, the word matzot, the word mitzvot, we mean that we should not miss an opportunity to do mitzvah. If it's a mitzvah to do right away, we should do it right away. 33b. V'chi ayel la'echal, when the Kohen entered to the sanctuary, b'mizbeach paga bereisha, he entered the incense, the altar of the incense first, because it's close to the entrance of the sanctuary. The candle burn, it's farther. The Tanya, shulchan b'tzafon mashuch min hakotel, the table, it's north, from the north wall, 2 אמות ומחצה, 2.5 cubits, ומנורה בדרום, the candle burn is in the south, משולחן מן הכותל 2 אמות ומחצה, she is from the south wall, 2.5 cubits, מזבח ממוצע, that the altar between the table and the candle burn, ועומד באמצע, and he stand at the centerpiece of the sanctuary, ומשוך כלפי חוץ, it's for the entrance of the sanctuary, כמעט, a little bit, ונוק מלעדיו, we should bring the incense, the altar and the incense straight with the table and the candle burn, why it's leading to the outside. They said, because the Torah said in the book of Exodus chapter 26, since the Torah said you should put the candle burn close to the table, we derive that there has to be in a way that they quote unquote see each other. So if the incense altar it's in between them, they quote unquote they don't see each other. And we have to go according to the way the Torah expresses it. So now we derive another important lesson, that when you have the tefillin, so you have to have you have to put the hands tefillin before the head tefillin, which means asur. So in other words, you cannot put the head tefillin first before the hands. So how you do it? Midera letotefta will come from the arm to the head, which means you put the hands tefillin first, and then you put the head tefillin. So the Shulchan Aruch Kafchet elaborate on that. What happens if someone by mistake pull out the head tefillin first? והדבת 5 נרות קודמת לדם התמיד, ודם התמיד קודמת להדבת 2 נרות. That's continuing with Abaye Braita. My Tama, why you have the 5 candles first? אמר אביי, ההוא בבוקר, we derive from the line in Leviticus 6, let's see it in the morning twice, דשני גזרי עצים לא צריכי, that the 2 pieces of wood doesn't need to have it there in that place, which means even without that we understand that they have to have 2 pieces of wood. שדינו להכה, you put it, these 2 words, בבוקר, one in the morning, שדיה להדבת 5 נרות, that apply to preparation of 5 candles, the likdemei leדם hatamid, that it proceeds to the blood of daily offering, v'chad shediyeh ledam hatamid, the second baboker, you put it for the blood of daily offering, the nikdemei le'atavat 2 nerot, proceeding preparation of the two candles. Chad, and we elaborate on that. Chad shadi al adavat chamesh nerot delikdem el edam tamid de'achat lata, because they said 3 times the word in the morning. Hachat rei, this is 2 times. One, lekevus echad aseh baboker. The second one is baboker, said in regard to 2 pieces of wood. V'chad shadi el edam tamid, and the other one takes for the daily offering, the blood of daily offering, the nigdem el adavat shenerot, that you proceed the blood of daily offering to bring the 2 candles that left over in the candle burn. Ve'aval gav dehacha trei, even that it's written 2 times. Ve'hacha, in regards to putting the 2 candles, it is written trei 2 times. Mechaper adif, the burn offering, it's better because it's aton for aseh en lo taseh anitak laaseh. So it means that it's aton for sin. So Amar le Rabbi, Rav Papa le Rabbi, ve'ema chad shadi l'dishul mizbeach l'miyid denigdem l'edam tamid de'achat lata ve'achat trei, ve'chad shadi l'edam tamid denigdem l'adabat 5 nerot, אבל גם de'achat trei ve'achat trei mechaper adif. So basically we are in a school of thought that something that create atonements is take precedence. It's more important than the others. So the Gemara responds and said, in Ken, if you tell me that the blood of daily offering precede to preparation of 5 candles, afsuke b'mayim afsaklu, how do you separate between preparation of the 5 candles to preparation of the 2 leftover candles? So if because it's make a lot of noise, and people walk back and forth in the entire courtyard. Shafir, I understand that there is no need to separate between the 2 type of work. Which means the 2 part of the morning, which means that they have the work in the tabernacle and the temple. You have to have it in 2 separate time during the day. Since he holds that you have to have 2 separate times, that who is really superfluous, the way that Abaye explains. We need it for the purpose of the Eitzim. That precede the second arrangement of the incense. Amarlei velav mi ukimna. Don't we arrange it earlier in the early part of the session, because we said aleha, which the large arrangement, velo al chaverta, and not the second one. Michlal deita lechaverta. It means that it can be the second one. So they said Maishna de'avid. What's the difference that make adavat nerot 5 nerot bereisha? We make these 5 candle burn first. Even he needs to separate to 2. Na'avil adavat 2 nerot bereisha. We should do 2, and which means we do 2 candles first, and then we stop with the blood of the daily offering, and then we make the 5 that left. Avid ruba. He does all the majority. Venavichit, we should do 6, which means after the daily blood offering, we should do the last one. Amarkra, the Torah said in Exodus chapter 30, which means when the Kohen prepare all this candle lamp of the candle burn, he should put the incense. ונרות פתוחות יש 2. Since you use the word נרות, it plural, has to be 2. והטבת של נרות קודמת לקטורת, the preparation of 2 candles precede the incense. אמר קרא, the Torah said in Leviticus chapter 30, והטיבו את הנרות והדר יקטירנה. הרמב"ם, הלכות תפילין ומזוזה, בספר תורה chapter 4 said that one should not store the tefillin of the head on the top of the arm, which means because the procedure has to be first the hand and then the arm. If he does the opposite, he is required to place the tefillin of the head aside in order to don the tefillin on the arm first. So that's the whole idea of having the tefillin in the right process, which means the hand first and then the head. Also, we learn En Ma'avrin al Mitzvot, which is the Rambam, Ilchot Tefillin Muzuzah V'Sefer Torah, chapter 4. If one has an opportunity to perform a mitzvah, it's prohibited to forego it in order to perform a different mitzvah.
Yetzah